So any good project like this involves a pretty significant degree of planning. And when you want to have a situation where you have LEDs, pairs of opposing LEDs, lighting up or dimming at the same time, you've got to figure out how the wires are going to work. I spent a lot of time coming up with different schemes. I knew that, for example, there would have to be common anodes. So you can see the long pins of the LEDs are all connected to a central point. That's the power coming in. But then you get to the cathode, the power coming out. And then you start getting into, how am I going to connect the one on this side to the one on this side when all this stuff is in between it. And as you can imagine, the first one's easy. You just go around the outside. But you can't do around the outside for all of them because you soon start ending up with wires in really weird places and it becomes a multi-plane situation. So it was too hard for me to solve. I didn't know how to do PCBs when I did this. And I came up with this monstrosity where I have buried deep down inside of there, beyond the focal plane, all of the long pins of the LEDs are soldered together and attached to this red wire, so they all share a common power in. Each one of them is then connected to an individual resistor, because you don't share resistors between LEDs. And then I bent the pins of one of the cathodes, the short pins, the negative pin of one of the opposing pairs of LEDs, across the center, put insulation on it, shrink wrap, soldered it all together to the other guy, and then built this lattice of, as you can see, 3 heavily insulated and 1 buried there in the middle of a pile of liquid rubber. So that resulted in these 4 pins. These are the 4 negative terminals of the LED pairs, which then connect to the transistors, which connects to the Arduino and controls the pulsing circular light motion you see. I eventually got to the point where I could develop and make my own very crude PCBs, and I thought, I'm going to be really clever about this. And I came up with these 2 designs. And as you can see, I had the same problem. In reality, I have the opposing pairs. So you see where the number 1 is, and then the number 2, they're connected by a trace. But where you see the numbers 3 and number 4, that's the second 2 sets of LEDs, they're not connected by a trace. So I had a way to have all of the LEDs have a common anode in the center. So the long pin of each LED comes out of the star-like thing in the middle. But then the short pins need to connect so that when I light up one, the other one lights up as well. And I couldn't figure out how to get 3 and 4, which are buried in the middle of this, connected to each other because there's just not enough room in a single plane. So I thought, how do the smart guys do it? Well, they create a second plane. And in this case, I believe this trace was going to connect 3, and this trace was going to connect 4. And then there is an additional small intestine looking thing which connects 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can tell it's 4 by the 3 pins. That's where the transistors would go. So the transistors would talk to the negative terminal of the LED pin sets and turn them on or off, because the transistor is downstream current-wise of the LED. It's attached to the negative terminal. I wasn't as clever as I thought. The geometry didn't work out. The drilling didn't work out. So what I ended up doing is something a little bit better than this. I ended up creating this, which uses the 1 and 2 pairs, and connects those negative terminals through the 1 and 2 traces on the board, but doesn't connect 3 and 4. So I ended up only having to bend a couple pins across. It's much, much neater, much, much more compact, much cleaner. It's still not ideal. It's still pretty janky, but it works. Another thing I did here as well is you notice that there's a gap here. So this line gaps as it crosses. This is a positive line crossing a negative line. And what I ended up doing on this guy, and it does work, slightly out of focus, was I put a small amount of liquid rubber insulation where the gap was, and then I used surface mount resistors to bridge the gap. They only touch on the ends, they don't touch the middle, so they actually bridge over this line right here, and there's no electrical connection. I've double checked that about a jillion times, so it works. This guy, while it wasn't usable for connecting the LED negative terminals, it was perfect for mounting the transistors. So all of the transistors now share, two of the transistors use the trace and have common pins, one right here and one right here. Oops, one right here, one right here. And they all share a common negative terminal, which is, I believe, this guy right here. Yeah, this is the common negative for all of the transistors. So they all have a common ground. And putting the two together, I can now control, once I get this fully wired, because I have two of the transistors aren't connected properly yet, this one board will control all of the LEDs in perfect synchronicity on these two Bassards, and that'll be it for that entire setup. So that's how I solved the problem of reality of just not being able to fit wire traces in a space that was too small in a single plane, without being really clever and coming up with what should have been a stacked solution or a multi-level board. You know, maybe next time we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.